I think that's something good that we can kind of riff on, man. So thought leadership and creating these books, creating this content. Like, tell me more about thought leadership and what it means to you. Why is it important? In 2019.
Yeah, I mean that's probably a question for John Maxwell. We need to get him on the get John on the horn here. Call up John Maxwell. For me that he's the epitome of thought leadership.
Yeah.
Gary V and them. Gary. I listen to very few.
Okay.
John Maxwell, Gary V. Those are individuals that I respect. What they're saying and their willingness to put that content out there. I admire that. For me, thought leadership. Really, man. I really just try to. I just really try to lead by example.
Yeah, exactly.
That comes from playing sports.
Yeah.
My being my first career playing sports. It's just I'm not I'll tell you what I want and what I want to do and what I want to accomplish. And for me, it's about it's really about just going out there and doing it. Talking about on thought leadership.
Yeah, thought leadership, and I think I'm gonna go into like misconceptions about. We can talk about whatever you want to talk about, man. What do you think?
I like your mindset, Nate. I like where you take conversations.
Appreciate it. Man.
I've always been a big fan of yours.
Appreciate it, man.
Since the first time you crashed my website. I've always been a big fan. Your ability to be able to. Your ability to be able to kind of get the best out of me,
right,
and your ability to not only to get the best out of me, but your ability to also keep me focused and dial me in, and and at times keep my blood pressure down. I get overly, I can remember conversations we had, where I've had to learn how to just change as an individual.
Right.
And talking about thought leadership, it's funny. For me, thought leadership, and I can only really speak on, my personal experience, because I say this all the time. People are tired of hearing sermons. They want to see one, and I'll keep saying that over and over again, probably till the day they bury me. People are really tired of hearing sermons. They want to see one. Yeah. So for me, I can only really talk about my experience, but I can remember me and you, one of the conversations we had, we were sitting down at a client, and me and you getting heated. It was the only time we ever really had a heated conversation.
Right.
I won't name the client, but we were downtown Tampa.
I remember it.
And, but your ability to always just make sure that, and this was like new in our relationship. Yeah. But that's who I was. I was always, that's how it was when you're on the court. It's like, hey, man, get your butt in that position. Your emotions are always high. It's when halftime, when you guys go in the locker room, everybody's but on the court you're it was you're hollering, your blood pressure's up. It's just the moment. But your ability to have always been able to kind of like just keep me level headed, and the way you stay level headed, and my wife does a wonderful job with it. You guys have the very, very similar personalities. And, and that has allowed me to, I take pages from people. What I do is I sit back and I watch everyone. I don't engage, too often, but I'm always watching. I take bits and pieces from the best of everyone. I'm almost like a Bruce Lee in this art. Yep. I take bits and pieces from all disciplines and create my own discipline that works best for me. And I think for anybody listening or watching, that's really what it's about. It's, taking, bits and pieces, what works for you, take it. What doesn't work for you, you leave it on the shelf and you develop your own style. And, as long as you're true to yourself and as long as you're true to your own personal development, I think that's the journey that we're on, is really trying to figure out how to be true to ourselves. And for me, thought leadership is, if I'm just true to myself and I'm just always developing as an individual, and, and again, you can probably attest to this. You've seen me develop. You know what I mean? Yep. You see where areas I'm weak, and if I feel like I need to strengthen, I study.
Yep,
I need to strengthen my financing. I need to strengthen my budget and my whatever it is I need to strengthen. I need to strengthen certain things on how to deliver content I'll go and study. You know, I'm taking courses, online training. I'm going to workshops or seminars.
Exactly.
So I'm always seeking, you know, what is it that's going to help me on my journey.
Yep.
And I think for the most part, you know, that's really leadership. You know, leaders don't really have to go around saying I'm a leader. Leaders don't have to, you know, study from a textbook of leadership. Right. Leaders just have to be true to themselves, and they have to organically, you know what I mean, develop.
Right.
And you know, and for me, that's you know, I don't know. For me, that's leadership, and being able to, you know, like I said, being able to show people versus tell people has always been something important.
Right. Exactly. No, I watch you too, man. I see your prep game, man. Like, you know, behind the scenes, you know, spending all night, you know, prepping for courses and prepping for events and putting together your notes. And, you know, you're one of the only people that actually takes courses with me, or will take a course to, you know, continually brush up on your skills, man. I see a lot of cats just, you know, just stagnant, man. And,
right.
You know, your self-development game is, you know, right up there, man. And, you know, you'll be up all night before an event, you know, prepping and just making sure everything is right, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
So we've got books already printed, and you've already sent it over the new version. So
I know, right?
Yeah,
I've been notorious for that. I'm sorry.
No, it's all good, man. But that's your commitment to excellence, man. And, you know, we greatly appreciate it. So I was curious to learn more about this new ebook and, you know, what you were working on, you know.
Yeah, the new book, and it won't be an ebook. You know, this is something that
I apologize. Yeah, it's not an ebook.
Yeah, you know, we're probably gonna, you know, we're gonna publish. You know, probably go the route. You know, hopefully we can, you know, we'll publish with Simon & Schuster again, or you know, we'll see. You know, it's all about negotiation. We'll see who brings in the better opportunity and the better deal.
Right.
You know, but you obviously Simon & Schuster always has, because I'm, you know, under contract.
Right.
They always have the first right to refusal to say yay or nay with any book or project that I come out with. But you know, so it's a blessing to have that. But you know, whoever we decide to publish with, I'm excited to bring a book.
Yeah.
You know, just talking about my journey. You know what I mean? It's, you know, for me, it's been an extreme spiritual one.
Right.
Not only just apartment syndication and you know, and investing. You know, at the end of the day, man, you know, there's more to it. So I want to be able to express myself in this book. You know, it's funny, if I can sidebar, I remember writing Buy It, Rent It, Profit, and I would share these proverbs because, you know, I'm a big Proverbs man. Right. You know, I'm a huge fan of King Solomon. So I would put these proverbs in my book, Buy It, Rent It, Profit. I can remember, you know, I read my own clippings. I always go on Amazon sometimes and read my ratings and things like that. I can remember somebody writing on one of the great book, but I wish he would leave all the Bible references out. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, here I thought I was, you know, expressing myself and, right, you know, saying, hey, look, these are my beliefs to be able to get to point A and point B. But yeah, so if you're not big on my my references, then you probably want to pass on my book. But you know, for me, but it's not about knowledge. And if you look at my personal life, right, you know, having this brain tumor and dealing with what I was dealing with, being a great syndicator, being a great investor, making a lot of money, building wealth, all that was for naught, with one foot in the grave and the other on a banana peel. Wow. You know, at the end of the day, you know, all that meant nothing. You know, U.S. Library of Congress, best-selling, Simon & Schuster best-selling author, all that meant nothing. So if we're just all about just building wealth and not really keeping our eye on self-development, spiritual development, you know, really, then you know, what is it for? You know, I hope no one will ever have to face what I faced, dealing with a brain tumor and taking cancer head on, you know. But at the end of the day, I can promise you, the accolades and the books and the how many apartments you own, and you know, at the end of the day, none of that meant anything. So, you know, so it's important that, you know, this next book kind of reflects not only about the personal journey, but also helps individuals get over obstacles, because as you develop yourself as an entrepreneur, no matter what your profession or discipline, you're going to need to know how to navigate challenges.
Exactly.
Hopefully nothing as major as what I went through.
Right.
But you're going to need to know how to develop skill sets, and you want to hear from those who have experienced this.
Right.
You know, I'm tired of seeing social media gurus and experts. Every week there's a new one. You know, there's a new so-called expert, you know, because you've aligned yourself with certain people. Now you're an expert, and you jump on social media and you start talking, and you know what I mean? You know, at the end of the day, you know, and I'm not knocking, but you know, I you know, that's just not me.
It's frustrating to watch.
Yeah, it's just, you know, I need to know that you've gone through something. You know, to be able to lead, you have to have suffered in some way, shape, or form. You know, and I don't know if that sounds right, but you know, when you suffer, you've experienced, and you know, I get to see who you really are. You know, everyone looks good. You know, everyone looks. Winky Wright used to say, everyone's got a great game plan till they get hit in the mouth. And Winky's a boxer. You know, everyone's got a great, you know, and you know, in the martial art movies, everyone's got a great. You know, they look good, you know, got the nice outfit on. They do their little routine, and then they get into battle, and it's like, you know, they fold like a cheap tent. So everyone looks great, you know, when things are going well, and things are, you know, your bills are paid, your health is good. You know, anyone can brag about the glory of God or their spirituality, how well things are going for themselves. But you know, how you act when the chips are down, how you act when bills can't get paid, and you know what I mean? And all hell is breaking loose in your life. You know, I just like to be able to hear from someone that has gone through that and who has actually suffered and has come through on the other side. Yeah, true. So they can kind of share with me, because it's good to read and open Bibles. It's good to go to groups and or to seminars, and you know, but you know, at the end of the day, I'll be honest with you, it was very difficult for me when I was sick to find a lot of comfort in just reading books and material. You know, I needed someone who's actually has gone through and faced some of the things I've faced, you know, and have come through, and to be able to really learn on those individuals, to be able to help develop my character, you know, to go through my battle. So, you know, that's why I'm really big on sharing and thinking that, you know, the educational content that we develop is not just about developing, you know, the skill sets, but also developing the individual from the outside, you know, or from the inside out.
Absolutely. I mean, so I don't want to give away the title if we're not able to, but I mean, you talk about tenacity. So skills and then tenacity. Right. So not just skills, but I
don't have a title, by the way.
All right. So this is a working title.
I usually try to work on the book, you know, develop the book, and then the title just naturally comes out. Okay. You know what I mean? Buy It, Rent It, Profit came out in the shower. You know, I was 89, 90% done with the book. Yeah. You know, and it just was like, you know, what do I, you know, how do I, you know, now here's the piece of work, here's the finished product, you know, what do we, it names itself. Okay. So I don't really have a name for this next book. We know it's going to be about apartments, syndications, how to build wealth through owning and operating apartment buildings. We know it's going to have tons of information, how to develop yourself, how to understanding what, you know, the various forms, contracts, due diligence process, evaluation, underwriting, what the most important formulas and matrix you got to know how to evaluate to really properly underwrite a deal. It's going to take you through the world of financing, the world of property management, asset management. You know, and then again, it's going to take you through that self-development as an individual, you know, because the thing about entrepreneurship, if you got you know, if your mindset is garbage, then your business is going to be garbage. Oh man, you know what I mean? So, you know, if I can't help you develop that mindset, then the business is going to suffer. The business is always a reflection of the owner, you know, at the end of the day. Yeah. So, you know, if I can't help you develop as an individual, then your business is going to suffer. So what good have I done? If I'm just helping you on the skill side, but I haven't helped you develop as an individual. And for me, you know, the thing is I feel like I can help you develop as an individual, not because I'm some leader, not because I've graduated from Harvard or because I have suffered. Yeah. Worse than probably anybody, you know, at the end of the day, you know, literally I lost everything, finances, my ability to walk and talk and come through. Exactly. You know, so, you know, that I think gives me the ability or the qualifications to be able to talk to individuals and help them develop their mindset to be able to overcome challenges.
Of course. No, I've seen you. I mean, not only can you speak to investors, but, you know, as a brain tumor survivor, you did an event a while back. I saw you holding up a like a card, and it said like I support this.
Yeah.
Tell me more
or something.
Yeah,
like that.
tell me more about that, man. I mean, I'm just curious, because I think everyone's like, oh, Bryan Chavis investor, but yeah, you could.
Yeah, it was something. It's trying to give back. It really I wasn't really able to devote the time.
Yeah.
As you know, man, coming back and trying to build Chavis Capital and Bryan Chavis in coaching and consulting, trying to build the company right alongside you.
Yep.
It takes a lot of time. So my ability to be able to offer the time that's needed to for philanthropy is not there yet.
Yep.
That's why I'm doing this and saying these things, because I feel like if I can sow seeds this way, this helps. This is my form of philanthropy right now, because I can't dump a ton of money into charities. We're not there yet. We're putting money into our projects. We're putting money into our business. We're on a we're committed to a framework that we've developed. So we're not in that framework doesn't allow for a ton of time outside of developing yourself and your family and friends. So for me, I wasn't able to develop the time that I wanted to, but in the future, man, that's what it's about, is being able to create these these charities and these organizations to be able to help again to help as many people as we can.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what it's about, brother, is to be of service to others.
Right. And I think that's one thing, like right now. So the philanthropy, that's helping the helpless, helping the people, that need that type of service. But like, I see the work that you're doing, man. And like, you think of like our buddy Johnny Vandal, man.
Mm-hmm. Big shout out to Johnny Vandal.
Shout out to Johnny Vandal, man. His life is changing, man. I mean, he's a great cat, and he's putting in a lot of work. But him being able to work alongside you, like that's taking his whole life to another level, man. And that happens.
And to see it.
Yeah, to see it.
To be able to see it firsthand is a blessing for me. Again, you struggle with this stuff, trying to figure out, one of the, I don't want to get emotional, but one of the bigger struggles I had was like, okay, well, I've come through this brain tumor and this fighting, facing cancer. I thought things were going to be roses. I read the book of Job. I was like, okay, after Job at least I read what I thought I was reading, in my interpretation, he got it all back. And, I thought that it was going to be roses. Hey, man, I've come through this. There's got to be a purpose for me. God has definitely put me, in this situation. I've gone through the situation to be able to do whatever it is. I was fully ready for it. Man, I wasn't ready for this 3 to 5 year period of really, of this.
Of crickets.
Crickets. I'm sure the people on Facebook probably can't hear it, but I just hit the sound effects. It's crickets. And that's what I felt like I was getting. It's like, okay, God, where are you?
Yep.
Where are you in all this? You bought me, you kept me around for what? You know what I mean? You healed me for what? I mean, business was slow. No business was coming in the door. People were canceling contracts, opportunities that I had, they were, stuff was just getting worse. It wasn't getting better. And I thought, hey, like Job, I've come through it. I've honored God. Where is he in this whole, the whole scheme of things? Where is he? He ain't showing up. And it was like crickets. So for me, that was the frustrating part. Was like trying to really, trying to understand, that it's about his timing, and not my own personal timing. But yeah, I know I got sidetracked, but No,
hey, we're here for all of it, man. So. I mean, that's a big testimony to tenacity and putting in the work, man. So I mean, let's talk about apartment syndication for a second. Why apartment syndication in 2019? I know we've been doing property management, we've been doing investing, but apartment syndication, what's so hot about that right now? Why are we focused on that? I
mean, it's when the Jobs Act, I think Obama introduced the Jobs Act. When he did, it allowed certain SEC regulations. It allows certain opportunities for individuals, private individuals, to create these companies and raise money without going through certain SEC guidelines and registrations that are very costly.
Okay.
So it allows you to because ideally, anytime you raise money, Nate, anytime you say, hey, I don't care what you have, a lemonade stand, an ice cream stand. If you got a business, an idea, and you're saying, hey, listen, I need to raise money and I'm going to promise you a return, you're actually offering a securities.
Okay.
So anytime you offer security, You got, there's certain regulations that you have to go through. I don't care what you're doing. If it's an investment, a small apartment building, and you're doing it between a small group of individuals, anytime you say, hey, look, I'm going to take on this project, I'm going to run it, I'm going to offer you a return, I'm going to take money from you, but I'm going to offer you a return in return of that cash or that equity, it's a security. Okay. And you have to register it. And so it's given us the ability to register under 506B or C. And there's other exemptions, but 506B and C are the most widely used with apartment syndicators. There's other ones that are coming out, hybrid forms, and I'll let Paul and Adam talk about that, our syndicated attorneys. Exactly. We'll let them speak on the specifics. But what it does is it allows any individual like myself to obtain a certain amount of skill sets and then go out and be able to raise money to be able to buy these much larger projects, because people are hustling out there on the wholesales and the flipping, and they make it look fun for TV. Yep. HGTV, they got the new Airbnb TV show. They make all this stuff look like, look, I got an Airbnb, and that ain't all that glamorous like they're showing it on HGTV.
Right. And you got guys putting out courses teaching you how to like build a whole circuit of Airbnbs. That's a whole lot of trouble, and I mean you could lose that all. Yeah, and and again, those are the skill sets that I would rather not develop, because they can be gone with regulations. True. With the city. True. Your city can say, hey, no longer, we're not going to handle Airbnbs, whatever. So you're spending all this time learning this Airbnb trade where in a matter of months things can change. Absolutely. But when it comes to syndicating and owning apartments, that's not going to change. That's there's no regulation forecasted that's going to not allow individuals to invest in real estate. So I'd much rather focus on investing in multifamily, investing in apartments. And again, people, well, why not single family homes? But obviously, if you've heard me speak, you'll know that the single family homes, the economies of scale and the ability to create the wealth as quickly as needed with the less volatility and the less risk. There's too much risk involved with the single family homes. Those are break-even ratios. Yep. I'm not knocking it. It's a good way to make $1 million if you can get there, but there's many more risks. And when there's many more risks to be able to get to a certain goal, you're opening yourself up to when there's many more moves to be made to get to that $1 million. The more moves, the more risk you open yourself to. So, again, with them being break-even ratios, and again, I always say, if you own a single-family home and you have one vacant unit, and you own a duplex, you got one vacant unit, you're 50% on the duplex, and you're 100% vacant on the single-family home. That's the ideas of benefiting from the economies of scale. Owning more units gives you that ability to benefit from those economies of scale. So, that's always going to be the greater of the opportunities, plus the tax deferrals. Right. I can go on and on about why multifamily, but multifamily is far more stable, and you can see that in the economy right now. You see a lot of uncertainty on Wall Street, but there's not a lot of uncertainty, with the rental housing market. It's outpacing single family our home sales. More individuals are looking to rent more than they are to even gravitate towards home ownership. Communities nowadays, these apartment buildings, they have their own gyms, they have their own coffee shops, they've got everything. They have everything you need. So it's a lot. They're luring a lot of individuals out of home ownership. Home ownership has fallen some large. I want to say 60%. I don't know what the number is, but I know it's a large percentage. They're seeing the market softening, and going back to those, the flipping and the wholesaling, you see a lot of people competing for the same, the same asset class, so, that's why I feel like if you're a realtor or a broker, you really need to be sharpening your skill sets, and developing the mindset to get into multifamily or some sort of commercial. And taking ownership, not just selling real estate to others and receiving a commission, but to also, make sure that you're that general partner, and you're creating your own possible syndications. Because I feel like in another 5 years or so, at the end of the day, artificial intelligence is going to kind of do away with the real estate agent, or strongly challenge what they're receiving as far as commissions are concerned. Is really
soften those commissions up, and either way, it's not good for the, for the real estate agent, and I don't care, what bill of goods anybody is selling them. Their industry is under threat with the technology.
Absolutely.
So they have to diversify, and this is, and they already have the skill sets to become successful syndicators. They already have these databases. They already sold so many probably investment properties to investors. Now it's time to pull all those resources together, create themselves in a syndication, go out there, create become the general partner, stop becoming the salesperson. Because when you're a salesperson, you can only receive commission. You don't have ownership. And now you're chasing commission. And now you've done 2 or 3 deals. In order to keep your lifestyle going, you got to keep that pipeline going.
Right.
And that's cool, but that's a lot of hard work. Why not have ownership in something where you have passive income coming in? So at the end of the day, again, why syndication? This really allows for individual brokers, agents to become really successful syndicators. I really feel like they probably have the makings and the skill sets to become, the more successful syndicators out there.
So what do we have in store for like the next year? Like, so if people are, rocking with you and, coming and helping to sharpen their tool set, what can they expect over the next year?
Well, what we're working on, we've got the Bryan Chavis's Multifamily Matrix coming out, which is, again, it's a direction of going somewhere where others are not. When you're developing a business, an idea, a concept, you have to see what's out there in the marketplace, right, and then you have to develop. We have a meetup, for example. Everyone has a meetup where someone's coming in and dropping knowledge. We wanted to create a meetup to where people are actually, just getting to know each other, building relationships, having a more of a social atmosphere more than the education. I wanted to be able to put education somewhere where someone can access it 24/7. They didn't necessarily have to come to a meetup to hear someone speak. They could go somewhere and access knowledge, videos, training that was all specific to multifamily and investing in building wealth and owning apartment buildings. And that's what the Multifamily Matrix is, because when I started, I had to go here, there, and still did for a while to be able to piece stuff together to get what I needed to be able to develop myself. And I wanted to be, and love the boot camps, but to go to a 3-day boot camp here, and then, I missed this one. I'll try to go to this one next year. I'll try to go to this one next month or whatever. We wanted to eliminate all of that. We wanted to be able to have something that was on 24/7. That you can access on demand when you wanted it, how you wanted it, lectures, videos, tools, resources. It's all in one place, specific to one industry, which is multifamily. And that, to me, was the Multifamily Matrix. Our tagline is, where successful investors started and experienced investors grow. Yep. And to me, that's, that sums everything up in a nutshell.
I love it, man. I love it. So yeah, we got Multifamily Matrix coming up. We're going to keep these conversations going each week, man. So, B, I just want to thank you once again for coming through, man. Always a pleasure speaking with you, man. We're going to keep
always
this
good
going.
to be in the studio.
Absolutely.
Always good to be in the.
We got the new mics in the.
We got, boy. I wish I could. Let me. If I could just. I'll take a few pictures.
What?
I'll snap a few pictures. You guys. I mean, Nathan. Let me talk about Nate for a minute. But Nathan has put a lot of stuff together, guys. The Matrix. This podcast and being able to do the best, offer the best we can offer you is a lot of that comes from this gentleman right here across the table from me. Yeah, you just ought to see this studio. The studio is just off the chain that Nate put together for us to be able to come here and drop this kind of content to you guys live. And big shout out. I just seen and he's gonna kill me. I just seen Carlos come in. Carlos Ares just popped in on Facebook, man. So man, let's wish this man a happy birthday.
Hey, happy
birthday, Carlos. I don't know. I forgot how old you are. You just turned 25 again, but happy birthday, bro. I'm sorry I missed calling you. You're on top of my radar. Got a little busy with the so-called hurricane that was gonna hit us, so. Just wanted to make sure we gave Carlos a shout out and said happy birthday to him. So absolutely, happy birthday, man. Carlos. But we'll catch up soon. But yeah, man, you got to see this studio. This studio is off the chain. So the Chavis Coaching Consulting Studio is where it's at. Nathan, this man is a award-winning digital marketing genius. Has his own company, Allison Alligator. Big shout out to him and Allison Alligator. But yeah, the matrix is going to be far more than what you guys expect, because your ability to become thought leaders, that's what this is about.
Absolutely.
So this is a place where you can truly go to develop your thought leader skill sets. So Nathan's going to help you develop all of the websites and the resources and tools and the marketing. I'm going to help you with all of your investor pitches, your presentations. You can license our courses, and there's a difference between our courses and others.
Yep.
Ours are approved for CE.
Yep.
Exactly. So, big shout out to Greg Simpson with TB RIA. So we'll be able to license, training materials to where, the RIAs and the organizations will be able to offer education and content. So, that'll be coming to a RIA, TB RIA as well. We have our meeting scheduled the same day that they have their main meeting. We'll be working on making sure that gets worked out in the near future. But big shout out to them for their support, their education, their pursuit in excellence. Absolutely. But, we'll be able to offer you guys everything through the multifamily matrix. And Nathan is a big part of that.
Excellent. Thank you so much, man. And everything from templates, marketing templates to resources. And, once again, it's big, it's all about the training with Bryan Chavis as well. Lots of coaching, lots of training. You're going to be able to really grow your business with the matrix. And we're really excited about that. But yeah, thank you for tuning in. We really appreciate you joining and rocking with us. We're going to be here every week. So, just send us your questions, anything you want us to talk about. We would love to share that. And thank you. Once again, Bryan, thanks for being here, man. Appreciate you, bro.
Absolutely. See you next week.